Hello, my name is Andra Anderson, and I am the program coordinator for Next Generation Scholars in Kent County. So I get to work with students in grades 9 through 11 and talk with them about the future. And we're thinking about the future, of course, but with the pandemic and everything that's going on right now, we're focused on the present, and I want to take a moment to be focused on the good. So with me, I have two Kent County High School juniors who will talk a little bit about what they're going through right now with e-learning, but then also a special project that they've been tasked to work on that is helping the community. So hello, Jordan and Giuseppe.
Hi.
Hello. It's so good to see your guys' faces. It's so weird to see it through a computer, but it's so good to see you guys. How are you? How are you doing right now?
Doing good. Staying busy.
Yeah. How about you, Giuseppe? How are you?
Trying to stay busy.
Yeah, same. Well, you guys are staying busy because you had a special project. Jordan, why don't you tell me a little bit about how this project got started, what it is, share a little bit of those details.
So, about like the second week of the shutdown and everything like that, where we got taken out of schools, Mr. Poor, who runs the Makerspace Club, emailed a couple of the kids from the club and asked us if we would like to take the 3D printers home. And of course, we were all like, yes, because they're super cool. And then he sent us these files to 3D print like face masks for first responders, anybody on the front lines. And so we were all, pretty excited, can't wait to get the 3D printers. And so we got them, and almost immediately we're all sending in emails and pictures of all the masks that we've already started making. And so now everybody has about 5 done, so that'd be like 20 masks. And then we're working on corresponding with a bunch of firehouses to send them out.
That's so cool. So, you're not only trying to figure out how to be a student and learn from home and kind of deal with that environment, but you are giving back. I'm like tingly. That's like, when I heard this story or I saw the video, I was like, this is so awesome. You guys are making a difference. Like you're pitching in and helping out because of a skill and because you said yes, and shout out to Mr. Poor, King County Public Schools. He's just an awesome person in the community, and I'm so glad that he got you guys involved in this project, in this process. Jordan, what's it been like for you learning from home? Like, how has that whole environment been for you?
So I try to keep myself as motivated as possible. I try to work outside when it's nice, and if it's not, I go inside, but I try to move around so I'm never bored or anything. It's especially hard because I work really long hours throughout the day. I work from like 6 in the morning to about 6 in the afternoon. So I get about an hour of work when everybody's just like, asleep and done. But I try to just keep myself motivated. I keep planners, and I have everything in a calendar so I know what days I'm working on what and things like that. It's still really weird doing the classes online, but it's it's something I got to get used to because we're not coming out of this anytime soon.
Yeah.
But it's important to just keep myself busy and motivated.
Yeah. How about you, Giuseppe? How are you doing with learning from home right now?
Learning from home is going well, I think.
Okay, good.
Uh, there is the struggle of not having like friends to help you through the process. I mean, you have to email them or you have to video call them. Like Jordan recently sent an email to Brandon and I asking for chemistry help.
hmm
And then I asked her for algebra help. And it's kind of difficult trying to get the response immediately when you sometimes don't have it like with us at the time. Like Jordan said, she's working from 6 to 6. I mean, I'm stuck here at home because I work at a Fish Whistle, which is a restaurant, and now it's closed.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just not being surrounded by your friends. I know it's so weird not seeing you guys like in the hallways and in between classes and in the lunchroom. It's so strange. But you guys are, making it work by trying to figure out when to call each other. You're still trying to get some help from each other and work together. Are there any classes that have been particularly difficult for you right now? I know you guys are in some higher level classes. Are any of those proving to be difficult? Are you kind of pushing your way through it?
For me right now, it's Algebra 2 with synthetic division and long division.
Okay.
There's two things that we didn't learn when we were still in school.
Yeah.
So we have to use Khan Academy and each other to kind of like help us through the process. Other than that, it's pretty easy for me, I guess.
Okay. So you're kind of, Giuseppe, you kind of like learn by, you teach yourself things. I feel like that's kind of how you operate, but you like to work with other people too.
Yeah.
So that's why it's been maybe not as difficult. Do you guys have any teachers that you want to shout out that have been awesome during this time? Other
Miss,
than Mr. Poor. I guess he's not technically a teacher
yeah,
now,
Mr.
but
Ford, definitely. But he used to be a teacher, so it counts.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely Mr. Poor, Miss Bachman, and Mr. King. They've been really, emailing me back and forth, helping me figure out what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, any questions I have, they're right there on the email, things like that. It's really important.
Good. That's good to hear. Let's get back to the mask. So, Jordan, do you have one that you can show us of what you guys have been printing?
Let me put it together. So we have these
That-
masks. They go right over your face, like this. They have little like holes to put the elastics around the back of your head. And I just sent out this week another file for 3D printing. It's a ear guard, so it goes around the back of your head, and you attach the elastics to that instead of your ears, so you don't feel that constant strain on your ears.
Yeah. That's cool.
Because I know, like, when I was doing some of the work with the firehouse and everything like that, I had to be really like I had to take my mask off constantly. So, and when you do that, you have to get a new one, and you can't do it just out in the open. So I had to go into a bathroom and take it off, and then get a new one and put it back on, because you can't, you take it off, now you've exposed it, and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Important to remember. I've seen a lot of stuff about gloves, like people not using gloves correctly. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's a super hard one to master. I have not mastered it yet.
Yeah.
But it just takes a little bit of extra work.
Yeah. How about you, Giuseppe? Do you have anything nearby? Or you guys have the same mask that you're making, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same mask, pretty much.
Oh, you've got a red one. So it doesn't matter. Are they all different colors? Did you guys all get different? Is it called a filter?
Yeah, they're all different.
Yeah, they're different colors, but the
Okay.
material's still PLA.
Okay.
That's what the 3D printers use throughout. But we've also made different things. Like Jordan, I think she has a pie cookie cutter, I believe.
I do. I left it in my room, though. I have this unicorn, though.
I love that. That's so fun.
I have this like minifigure.
Oh, cool.
He showed me an anime from when he was a kid.
Uh-huh.
I've kind of grown to like it. So I kind of found this on Thingiverse, which is the website that we use to find files.
Uh-huh.
And I just downloaded and printed it, and it came out well.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad you're having fun with it, too. But tell me, how long does it take to make a mask?
A mask is 9 hours and 13 minutes for
Okay.
mine. I'm not quite sure because it depends on the position that you put it for when you make it.
Yeah, so for mine, it takes the same amount of time, but so I learned a lot about 3D printing in the CAD class that I'm also taking, which is a computer class.
Mhm.
It's a computer and design class. So I know how the 3D printer works. I have like an in-depth, knowledge of a 3D printer. So I take mine and I started out slow to get a good base, and then after about 5 minutes, I turn it up to 200%, so it's just moving back and forth really fast. So mine takes a little, like an hour less if I turn it up enough. But it also means that there can be an error. I have one. Hold on, let's see if I brought it with me. Yes. So right here, there's a line
Yeah.
all the way through, it burned itself because it was going so fast that it didn't jump up to the second layer and
Oh,
burnt the first layer that came before it,
uh-huh.
which is okay. It doesn't compromise it or anything. It actually kind of makes it stronger.
Huh.
Because it's welding it together even more, but it's just not ideal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. So wait, so you guys are both in the Makerspace program or club. How did you learn how to use a 3D printer? Was that through your CAD class or through Makerspace or?
So mine was through the CAD class with Mr. King. I'm the only one in my CAD class, which is really interesting because Mr. King and I kind of work one-on-one, trying to figure out the curriculum for the class and trying to make it so that it's a good class for the upcoming years. We just we learn together, and it's really nice to have Mr. King because he just wants to pour all his knowledge into me. So when I asked about the 3D printers, immediately he was just like, "This is what we're doing. We're gonna print stuff. We're gonna make stuff. You find something that you want to print. We're gonna print it. We're gonna paint it. We're gonna glue it. We're gonna go all in," which was awesome because it was so interesting. And then I learned how to model things, and we put those into the 3D printer, and so it's really great that we can do these types of things. And then so from there, Mr. Poor came in. He was like, "Whoa, this is super cool. You guys have your own 3D printers. You have," and so he was trying to teach us everything he knew about 3D printing. And then he wanted to bring his Makerspace Club from the middle school up to the high school for everyone. And immediately I was like, "I'm joining. I'm there." And so every day after my track practice, I would come in and I would do some Makerspace. And then at 5 was when the club ended, so I'd go home. And Brandon and Giuseppe were in track with me. So after track ended, they would come in and hang out for a little bit. And I think they started to see how interesting it was and see all the fun stuff that we could do. So then they started to join. So then we were going, instead of ending at 5, we were ending at 6 some days. And we were getting pizza and everything like that. We were just trying to make it this fun club. And it's just so exciting to have, like I can trust everyone in the club. I can, anything like that. I think it's really great that Mr. Poor trusted us with the 3D printers because most kids, if they got a 3D printer, they're just printing, toys and fun things that they want to see printed and things like that. But I think it's really great that we saw that these masks needed to be printed, these ear guards needed to be printed, and we were just on it. We knew what needed to be done, and we got it done. So I think it's really great that we have those types of values.
Yeah, that's so great. And Giuseppe, so Jordan kind of got you to join the Makerspace Club. Did you have an interest in 3D printing or anything before that?
So I'm in the engineering CTE along with Brandon. So we had no idea how to use a 3D printer.
Mhm.
The only one who knew was Jordan. So when we got the 3D printers, I kind of asked her through Snapchat how to use a 3D printer. After that, I just went and started printing. But 3D printing just looks cool in general. I mean, you can build minifigures, anything like that,
Mhm.
make it look somewhat detailed. It
Yeah.
is like refined detail as a resin printer, but it is like has detail in it. So I just was interested, and then was since Jordan was in the Makerspace Club, she would sometimes be in there rather than running her laps and track. Um, and I saw that Mr. Poor
You
was
just
in there.
said that, Jordan.
I saw that Mr. Poor was in there, and I already had worked with Mr. Poor through Horizons.
Uh-huh.
I knew that he was like a good guy and he was dedicated to what he was doing. So I just started like getting more interested into the club. And then after track had finished, we basically took the decision to be in the club and start designing and building lightsabers.
That's very cool. That's so cool. So, and now you guys have this skill that you can put on your resume, right? You know how to use the 3D printer. So I know, Giuseppe, you want to go into engineering. That could probably help you. I know, like I remember when we went to Dixon and they were using 3D printers in the engineering
Yeah.
department. So that's definitely something. Is this something that you guys think could help you with your future careers?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I've already gotten two 2 calls from Dixon asking about internships for 3D printing. So that's pretty exciting.
Yes. That's so cool. So cool. And you guys, and Giuseppe, you were talking about your connection. You knew Mr. Poor from Horizons. Like, it's all about connections, and it's about, building those skills and showing people that you have what it takes. And like you were saying before, having the 3D printer in your home as a high school student, like, you've been trusted. So somebody trusts you with this piece of equipment and trusts you to use it, appropriately to make these masks. So you guys are already you guys are already building it. You're doing it. This is so exciting. It's so cool to hear from you guys how everything is going, and it's just so neat. Thank you guys so much for sharing your time and creating these masks for first responders in the community. We just, it's so cool that you're doing it. It's so cool. And thank you guys for your time. Do you guys have anything else to add before we end our call?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending some time chatting with me about what you're doing, and I look forward to the day that we can all meet in school again. But until then, I look forward to hearing more about how these masks get out to the first responders, and I'm sure this is not the last time we'll hear about it. So thank you guys again so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.